Okay, folks, part 4 of Michael Gilligan's temporary order of protection. I have to keep reminding you about the ex-wife and my situation with her. Basically, she hates me, wants me to have nothing to do with our children, wants me to go away, wants me to just be a paycheck on a monthly basis so that she can live her life with her children and and you know have me uh, you know not be involved at all in their lives at all, period. This woman is, the reason why I left her has no empathy, no values. Uh, the talk that she had talked to me at one point, I compared to the walk-in, didn't match. So I got out. Um, the bottom line here is that she effectively used the court system to keep me away from my kids, to further keep me away from my children. And that's what this is all about. This is all about keeping Mike away from the kids. And it's quite clear to see. And the fun and games begin in court now. I did a bad thing in court, and basically it was I challenged the court. And I challenged the court without using a bar member attorney. This doesn't go over very well with these people. They run their courts like kingdoms. They're the kings, and you have to do what they say and have to follow their direction. And the whole process of court is there, number one, to intimidate you and to have you believe that somehow these people have superiority over you in matters that involve your personal life. You know what I mean? It's none of their business. My position is stay out of my life. I don't want you involved. No crime has occurred. Leave me alone. I don't need you to be involved in this. And and like you've seen already, this should never have gotten past September 2nd, 2016. Should have been thrown in the garbage. But anyway, I filed that motion to vacate the temporary order of protection based on lack of subject matter jurisdiction. It was denied, and basically I have to go back to court now again, and I do the same thing. A conference was scheduled for November 2nd, 2016, which is 2 months after the date this order of protection was issued, and I continue to just keep challenging the court. So I filed this an order to show cause lack of jurisdiction again on October 4th, 2016, and on the 11th it was denied, and basically for the same reasons as the other one. And I'll show that one to you as well. Here it is right here, and it's pretty much the same thing. And you got to remember, each time that I filed these motions to vacate the order of protection, it's always around, show me the evidence that you have subject matter, which is a cause of action that, should be easily explained. I harassed her, you have evidence to prove this, or, she was assaulted and there's an injury. There's none of this. And it's basically, it's the same response I get as the other one. And it's order to show cause, lack of subject matter jurisdiction, and we do the same thing. We just submit the same paper, just worded it a little different, and it comes back denied. And this is not something that's normally done by a litigant coming into family court. And Judge Spinner desperately wants me to have an attorney so that he could talk to the attorney and they could manipulate me and my situation and to their benefit. And because this is a business, like I've been saying, family court is a business. It's a $50 billion a year business, and I can't stress it anymore that you have to fight these tyrants and these people who think that they could just do whatever they want and they believe they have jurisdiction over you 24/7, because they don't. They do not. And and they want to threaten you to come see them come before them. And if you don't, you're going to be arrested. You may be arrested. Everything is basically done on intimidation. And members of the bar are very much aware of what's going on. Um, and they go along with the program, because if they don't go along with the program, they'll find themselves in trouble with judges and other senior members of the bar association. And there's a line to toe there. There are things that they can and they can do, and there are things that they won't do. The things that can be done, like in this situation, challenging the subject matter jurisdiction, that these attorneys won't do for you if you ask them to. They won't do it. But God forbid if an attorney or a judge gets sued, for one reason or another, the first thing they cite, the first thing that they do is they challenge jurisdiction. And usually for a judge, it's they're challenging on the basis of immunity. They have immunity, and so if it's good for them, why can't it be good for us? And that's what you have to do. You have to challenge these people, these tyrants, and basically this is where the adjournments start happening. You know what I mean? The adjournments on the 11th, the law guardian couldn't make it, so they had to adjourn it to December 8th. On December 8th, it was adjourned because all of a sudden Judge Spinner at 11 o'clock became sick. And here I was there with some of my friends all morning waiting to go into court. And we're watching litigants and lawyers go in and out. And then all of a sudden the court officer comes out at 11 o'clock, says that, it's giving me a piece of paper to come back in January because the judge has gone home sick. This is, in my opinion, clear retaliation against me. He took care of the matters he had to take care of and put me last. And, want to send me a message that, if you're going to go and do this to us, we're going to do this to you. And, and basically he's doing Mrs. Gilligan's bidding, exactly what she wants. And you see all these things that I highlighted here, like Halloween 2016, my daughter's birthday, Thanksgiving, my mom's birthday. These are all the things that, now I'm forced to stay away from. My son's birthday in September, on the 15th of September. He turned 11 years old. Christmas now is involved in this. Christmas and New Year's. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the one thing that I do before the next appearance in January is I get together with my friend Rick, and he helps me put together this writ. Basically this writ is called a Writ of Quo Warannto. Let me pull this up for you, if I can find it here. Here it is. Here is my Writ of Quo Warannto, and let me just shrink it for you. And this is what I did. Writ of Quo Warannto, demand to vacate challenging jurisdiction by clarification of evidence for court to enforce temporary order of protection. And basically what I'm asking for here is show me, during the last two orders to show cause and that I filed with the court, that, Judge Spinner never shows me the evidence that he has jurisdiction. Never states the cause of action that Mrs. Gilligan brings to court and complains and says, yeah, this is, he did this to me. And he never articulates or shows me anything. The charge or the offenses was I was never informed of what that was. And this is what we're asking for in this Writ of Quo Warannto. We're basically also challenging his oath of office. Is he acting constitutionally? Is he protecting my rights? Is he protecting Mrs. Gilligan more than he's protecting me? Is there equal protection under the law for both of us? Is he actually, relying on the facts? And basically, this this writ of quo warranto does something. This, and along with the group I belong to, Americans for Legal Reform, they had, just after I did this writ of quo warranto and I filed it in court, they sent a letter to the supervising judge who was Chief Judge Heinrich, and he they sent a letter on my behalf showing what's happening to me and how unjust it is and how they're violating my rights and my ability to be a father and to try to see my children. Um, and they were outraged just as much as I was outraged. And Judge Spinner here, is acting like a tyrant. He's acting like he's got all kinds of um, power, and he's asserting his power on me, letting me know that he's gonna, that I'm not gonna come into his courtroom and challenge him in this way, and I should be a good boy and just do what he says. And I'm not interested in doing that. I don't really, and like I said, from the beginning, I told him I don't want the benefit of his court. You know what I mean? I didn't ask to be there. I'm under duress. You asked me to come there, or you were going to arrest me. So if I don't show up, they're going to proceed without me, and they're going to make this a year-long order of protection, and that'll stay on my record forever. And that could affect me if I wanted to further my myself in a new career, or take a new job. I mean, this is what can happen to people. And the most important thing here is that my two sons are being used as pawns again. I had to forcibly stay away. I could have gone out and violated this order of protection. I could have challenged it that way. I could have gotten myself arrested based on this order of protection, and then went to arraignment in criminal court and challenged it there. That might be another way. If this ever happens to me again, I might do it that way. And that, then I would say to the criminal court, the arraigning judge in criminal court, I'd say, hey, listen, what's the subject matter on the order of protection? He'll be forced to look at it, and again, I'd be in a position to say, well, I'm not pleading to anything because I really didn't do anything wrong. Since when is it a crime or illegal to go visit your children? Especially when you have a stipulation agreement that says you're allowed to. That you agreed to with my ex. It's a joke. The system is a joke, and basically the writ of quo warranto, I submitted it on the 23rd of December 2016. This guy Jeffrey Spinner, I'm informed later on by a letter by another judge. His name is Matthew Hughes. And let me look for that letter. And here it is right here. And let me shrink that for you so you can see it better. Jeffrey Hughes sends me this letter. And this is a letter. It looks like it's a court order. He even puts the stamp on it as well, but this is a letter. It's just not an official document. Basically, it was sent on January 10th, 2017. And it basically tells me that my writ of quo warranto is hereby rejected. Now, this is Judge Hughes telling me this, but the writ of quo warranto was sent to Judge Jeffrey Spinner. He's supposed to reply to that writ. I never got this writ of quo warranto back, but it did something, and it put the writ of quo warranto and the letters being sent to Judge Spinner may have had an effect on him, and he recuses himself because I got aggressive with challenging the subject matter, which he never identifies. And very rarely do judges recuse themselves, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden now, and I filed a written complaint to the chief judge. I also filed a written complaint to the supervising family court judge, and all of a sudden now I'm Mr. Gilligan. Mr. Gilligan, because I'm challenging, the system right. And basically, I believe I have Jeffrey Spinner backed into a corner because now, because he didn't establish subject matter, he could be sued. You know what I mean? He could be sued, legally be sued in federal court. And because subject matter was never stated, was never told to me. And here we are months after this order of protection is filed and served upon me, and my rights are being violated. My rights are being trespassed upon. And this Writ of Quo Warannto really, does the right thing. And like I said, he recuses himself on the 27th, but I don't find out till, when I get this letter after January 10th. I believe I got the letter on the 11th. And, now I'm going to be before this guy, Matthew Hughes. Now, I know a little bit about this guy, Matthew Hughes, because, like I said, I'm an activist, and we have these a gentleman I know by the name of Chris DiMaggio. He did he does a public access TV program on Channel 20 here in Long Island, and he actually did an interview of Matthew Hughes and another judge who were running for election at the time to become family court judges. And Matthew Hughes seems like a nice guy, but it's past the buck time. He's using now this, and he's basically now the junior judge. He has to deal with this, which basically now is a bag of shit. You know what I mean? And he's got to protect his friend in black robes, Jeffrey Spinner. Why Jeffrey Spinner couldn't, do what he had done and denied the Writ of Quo Warannto and provided me a written response as to why he's not letting me know what the subject matter is. I still don't know to this day. I've never been officially told what the subject matter was of this order of protection, and yet we eventually wound up in a hearing. But here is the response for the Writ of Quo Warannto, and I gotta give props to my buddy Rick Wyman, who has, like I said, he's Rick W on YouTube. This is his Writ of Quo Warannto, and we adapted it to my situation, and it seemed to work, and worked very effectively, and it got me in a better position to eventually beat this order of protection. But it comes with a price. Two boys now they go through, from Halloween to New Year's without seeing their dad. Being told by their mom, that I'm probably dangerous and this, that, and the other thing, that she has to have this order of protection against me. It's very, very sad, but this shook up the situation in my case. And Deborah here was definitely miffed the first day we appeared before Matthew Hughes. And there was a clear objective now to get this to a hearing, and because the pressure was on. And not only did I get letters from Americans for Legal Reform through Gary Jacobs, complaining to the chief judge. Letters were apparently sent by a good friend of mine out in California, who's a film director. His name is Tommy Bull, and he apparently sent letters to the judge as well. And Tommy is actively involved in doing some work for parental alienation and hopefully putting together a documentary exposing what it is and how the court system is dealing with it and the injustices that are being done across the country to affectionately available parents who are being denied access to their children. He's a really good guy, and like I said, being associated with all these people, being active on the radio and internet radio and speaking out against this worked to my benefit. But again, I'm also paying, me and my sons are paying a price because we don't get a chance to see each other. And that's what it's all about for me, But, what I'm discovering here is we have a system that cares not about you. There's no justice. If I could give anybody advice about, family court, don't go there. If you don't have to go, don't go there. And if anything, if you get notices from them, reach out to guys like me, Rick Wyman, Gary Jacobs. Reach out to Americans for Legal Reform, and let us show you how to attack these these letters or notices that you'll get from them to appear in court, because these people got nothing better to do but to conduct business using you to their benefit, and that's the bottom line here. And it's all about helping friends of the court, social workers, psychologists, guardians ad litem, or now they call them now attorneys for the child. And these people are getting paid money, good money, to keep you at bay and to allow high conflict individuals like my ex-wife achieve her goal. And she pretty much achieved it, even though I eventually get this order of protection vacated. She wins for 7 months. She successfully gets me to stay away from the kids, and she has an honorable individual in me that I obey it. I never once disobeyed this order of protection, and I'm thinking maybe I should have, and maybe the next time I will. And like I said, if I have to be arraigned in criminal court on a bogus charge, that might be the place to challenge it and put the system behind the 8 ball, because and this is what you have to do, folks. Very uncomfortable. Don't think that I was, I had these huge balls, because there's definitely fear involved, but I had to step up and face my fears and attack these people, because they were attacking me, and they don't like it when you attack them back. You have to do that. But it gets adjourned all the way into February at this point. The situation, the Writ of Quo Warannto, you got to see Rick W on YouTube. Look him up. He's got he has a lot of good information on attacking child support too. I'm involved in that program with him as well, trying to attack the child support, because you have to attack the money in the way they're taking our money from us through the Department of Social Services, and he has a program to do that. But like I said, now Judge Hughes is the new judge who's going to hear the case. Americans for Legal Reform sent a letter from me on the 26th, the week of the 26th, and I'm very grateful to the president, Gary Jacobs, for doing that for me. The conference on the 11th of January 2017 is adjourned because my ex-wife is on vacation with my kids in Florida. This is a week after Christmas recess. She takes the kids out of school, goes to Florida. And they knew about this in December and never told me about it. So now it gets adjourned to February 9th, 2017. And it's adjourned again because of a snowstorm. I can't win. And I miss out on my son's birthday, February 1st, 2017. He's 15 years old now. And mission accomplished by my ex, pretty much. All the major important dates, she kept me away from my kids. But I'll end it here, and then we'll get into the hearing and what happened before Judge Hughes. Thanks for listening to me. I hope it helps people, and have a great day.